Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and wherever you're watching in the world, welcome along to the second round here of the TTL F1 Sprint Cup Series. My name is Kieran McGinley, and of course it wouldn't be a TTL F1 stream without the lovely, the spectacular Mr. James Head. James, how are you tonight?
I rate that introduction 10 out of 10, I've got to say so myself. Yeah, I'm doing really well, Kieran. How's yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Looking forward to yet another great night of racing here at the German Grand Prix. And of course, it is 2 rounds here tonight at the German Grand Prix. We get one-shot qualifying, then a 25% race, another one-shot qualifying, and another 25% race. And that sort of gets us to our nice, round, lovely figure that we get to 2 races and an alternate points scheme. So winner gets 30 points, and it goes all the way down in certain increments, down to 19th place that scores 1 point, and 20th place, my apologies, means 0 points whatsoever. And of course, it is a driver-based series only, so here are the driver standings. Carlsberg leads the way by a single point ahead of Recon, 50 points to 49 between the two of them. Later in third on 43, with Scuba in fourth on 38. Josh M is in fifth on 31. Vaporeon in sixth on 23, with Toxic and Charlie joint seventh place in with 20 points each. Casper and Key joint ninth place on 19 points apiece. They're also joined by Sean, so 3 drivers on 19 points there. Maze is in 12th on 15 points. Carlsbury in 13th. He's joined by 0 there, both on 14 points. Mashira in 15th on 13 points. Chubbs in 16th. He's on 10 points. Invictus, Lewis, Storm and the Gort, according to these standings, have not got points on the board just yet. But I'm looking forward to another great round of racing. I really am.
If it's anything like last week, obviously we had Austria, and obviously we had some phenomenal overtaking and some phenomenal battles as well, especially in the second race. We should get an absolute treat. There are plenty of overtaking opportunities around here at Hockenheim. We've got a couple of new drivers as well, so keep your notebooks out for Cowboy, Coutinho, and also for LR Blaze as well. LR Blaze, I think, is the reserve for the Sprint Cup, so he jumps in for his first race. And Coutinho and Cowboy are from TMC. Both of them, I think, have signed up for next season as well.
Absolutely. And I wondered there on the screen, obviously it says like 37 odd comments, and I thought, oh, maybe we're doing something wrong, James. Maybe, people can't hear us. No, it's because people were so hyped, apparently, for this one, which is, I absolutely love that. All the way for that. Great to have you all in the chat. Great to have you with us tonight as well. And hopefully this should be a fantastic race here tonight. And of course, we might as well go through the alternate point scoring system, James, because it is obviously a talking point. Winner gets 30 points, 5 more than the usual. So it's one of those where you've got to be on your toes as a driver and got to think, well, actually, even if I finish what's that? Third place, 20 points. Then you've got fourth place, 18, and so on and so forth. I mean, you can get a point for the fastest lap of the race as well. Both races as well. So it's the incentive to finish the races, really, that is so strong there.
Yeah, the incentive to finish the races, I think, should be, 100% of the time for these drivers. I think these guys have got to score as many points as possible and try and pick up a bit of silverware, the final piece of silverware, technically, before we go on to the new game of F1 2020. And with the championship standings being so close as they are, I mean, got Carlsberg leading by 1 point to Recon. There honestly is no room for error. One bad race could take you from first in the standings, maybe even down to far as 7th and 8th.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the key and crucial thing, isn't it? We've got to be so on our toes, even us in the commentary box, James. We've got to be on our toes and working out those points as we go along. But we're counting down now here into the first round of the Sprint Cup with 15 drivers. And again, 15 drivers is not so bad for a game that's supposedly coming to the end of its game cycle, as we await in a few weeks' time, in fact less than a month now, before that game lands on our doorsteps. I can be no doubt about that, James, that it will land on my doorstep. I'm pretty sure it's going to land on yours as well. Am I right in thinking that?
It will eventually, I think. I'm going to be getting it, definitely. I haven't pre-ordered it just yet, but I might. I will have to pre-order it.
Oh dear, we're going to have to do some convincing, aren't we, James? Well, how about this? Be with the commentary with me next season if you get the game. That's what will happen.
Well, of course I will be.
Well, there you go then. There's no reason why you shouldn't get the game. There you go. Problem solved. We're heading into one-shot qualifying here at the German Grand Prix, of course, redesigned in 2002 by Hermann Tilke to bypass now what is some famous straights in towards the forest there, but for safety reasons was redesigned after the 2001 Grand Prix. And we came to this circuit for the first time, with this brand new circuit, kind of, in 2002. And since then, it's been one of the staples on the calendar. Obviously, the German Grand Prix has at times been swapped between this and the Nürburgring. But when the Nürburgring pulled out earlier on this decade, or last decade, I should say, the Hockenheimring was all that was left. And because they were only contracted to host every other race, that's why we had that fluctuation between 20 and 21 races for a couple of seasons. Now, though, it seems like it's a staple on the calendar. People want it to stay now that the dramatic race of 2019 unfolded, that is for sure. But I know for a fact that this track has always been a staple on the calendar as we head towards that one-shot qualifying here. We have 17 corners that take us around this track, and of course Sebastian Vettel's home Grand Prix. The less said about that corner at the Sachs curve, the better. However, there are challenging circuits and challenging corners around here, including the very tricky turn 6, coming all the way from that long DRS zone through Parabolica towards a hairpin, will provide some great overtaking action. We're on board with Laser then as he tackles turn 1 here, one of the most notorious corners on this game. Very easy to cut the inside there and invalidate your lap time. Heading now up towards turn 2, then nice and tidy on the entrance there. Try and keep the back end in check as you go through turns 3 and 4. DRS now activated as you make your way through Parabolica. Parabolica spelt with a K here at the German Grand Prix. Now heading all the way down towards the hairpin at turn 6. Once again, a very opportunistic overtake is to be had here. Watch the exit here. You do not want the rear tyres to be spinning up on the exit of the hairpin. Heading our way now towards turn 7, which is flat out in these cars. It's flat out for years now as we head on towards 8, 9, 10 and 11 now. Where these 4 corners are, you can pick them out for me. But we now make our way through 11 there and then on towards the 3rd sector through turn 12. Get as close to that left-hand side wall as you can and try and take as much curb on the inside there, and even taking the green AstroTurf as well. Through Zach's curve, obviously banks towards the inside of the corner, towards the apex to help you carry through more speed. Through now the Sud curve after we've tackled that very quick chicane, and it's around the final corner. Use that curve on the outside, and it is going to be Josh M who is on pole position then for the first round here of the German Grand Prix. Race 1 of round 2. Josh M is on pole position, and Blaze still making his way around the circuit. He'll eventually come across the line to set a lap time on the board, but importantly, he hasn't retired. He hasn't disqualified his lap time. He's still in 12th place, so that's better than 15th place. But Josh M, 110.689, finds himself on pole position for the first race of this round of the Sprint Cup.
Josh, if I'm not mistaken, also set pole position in the mini league, so he is continuing on his good form in qualifying.
Absolutely, and that brings us on to the qualifying results. We have Josh on pole position with Recon in 2nd, Mashiro in 3rd with Kalsper 4th, Chubbs is in 5th with Laser in 6th, Scuba 7th and Sean in 8th, Charlie 9th and Maze rounding out the top 10. It's Callboy in 11th with Blaze in 12th, 134.9, pedestrian, but 12th place, it's got him on the board. Coutinho, Vaporeon and Zero all not setting lap times because their lap times were invalidated on that run. So 15 drivers on this grid. Mr. Head, it's time for your predictions that's not really a prediction.
I've got to be honest and say Mashiro has out-qualified Kalsper. I'll just throw that out there. TTL F1 League 2 champion, outscoring and out-qualifying TTL F1 League 1 champion. I don't think you see that very often, but honestly, I think Kalsper might have a good chance. Josh, if he gets the good start that is fabled, I think, around here in Germany, he got a great start in the mini league. I think he'll come out on top. I think for Kalsper, it'll be 2nd, and for 3rd, let's go Recon. I think we're going to get an epic classic between Kalsper and Recon again.
Oh, absolutely. And if last round was anything to go by, make sure you do go back and watch the last round. It was fantastic to watch and you just couldn't take your eyes off the action. It was that good. But make sure you do that after we've had round 2 here at the German Grand Prix. Very important that you don't go away, because this one's going to be a good one, I can tell you that right now. We head now on towards the formation lap then, where of course 25% races means that really the one-stop strategy is the way to go. It's very rare you're going to see many hard tyres being run at this track, and in a 25% race, that I should say. And most of the drivers, majority of them anyway, are looking to go on the soft tyres. The only two that aren't are Charlie in P9, who qualified actually on the medium tyre there, and Coutinho, who didn't set a clean lap time, starting in P13. He'll also be starting on the medium tyres. Everybody else, though, will be starting on the soft tyres, and of course if they're outside the top 10, it's a brand new set of soft tyres. If they're starting inside, it's of course a used set. But James, once again, we've got to come to you for a prediction in this race. We've got Josh on pole, but we've got Kalsper, who's the championship leader. Who do you see coming on top in this first race?
I think Josh might come out on top, to be honest. He had a great race in the mini league, if I'm not mistaken. I think he actually won that in the mini league last time out when we came around here at the Hockenheim. Kalsper, I think, has got the pace to get past Mashiro. Whether him and Recon will come to blows once again in another traditional battle that they always put on remains to be seen. But as I said for my prediction, I think Josh will win, Kalsper second, Recon in third. Watch out for Mashiro, though, and watch out for Scuba as well. Only 4.5 tenths off the top spot. Watch out for the Irishman. I think he might show a good pace around here.
Well, he's starting P11, just outside of the top 10, and of course anything can happen in these quick, short, sharp races. That's the point of them. They are short, they are sharp, and they will keep you on your toes. Then Josh starting this one on pole position. I wonder where he will finish, making his way now onto the grid as the cars slow their way down. Eventually we get to the grid here. And Josh starting on the left-hand side, not onto the inside of turn 1, but you really don't want to be going side by side all the way through turn 1. It is so narrow on the exit, and the curbs on the outside punish you severely if you get it all wrong. We're moments away then from the first race here of round number 2 here at the German Grand Prix. And as we count our way up towards 5 red lights, we are underway. What are the starts like? And there's a little bit of wheel spin in the background, but look at that start there. I believe that's Kalsper who got a great start, but nowhere to put the car as we make our way now in through turn 1. It's all getting a little bit bunched up here as we make our way on towards turn 2. You can see that's Mashiro there trying to have a go up the inside of Kalsper there up the inside of Mashiro. My apologies. And now Mashiro under pressure. Chubbs here is now going to try and have a go, but look at this Scuba now in P5 trying to make his way through. He's in the slipstream of Mashiro as we head our way through Parabolica and onwards now towards the hairpin. You can see in the background Blaze is trying to make up ground quickly as we head in towards that very tight hairpin for the very first time in this race. Looked like a clean start from all around as we head now towards turn 7. You've got cars running side by side through here. A little bit of gardening done by Chubbs, by Laser. There's a little bit of a car running a little bit wide on the entrance on towards turn 8 there, but managing to keep the car on the track at least. Everybody has found a way through. Charlie going side by side there. I believe that's Coutinho as we make our way now onwards towards turn 12. They're still going side by side. Was there contact? Charlie really lost it on the car there. I wonder if there was contact. To be honest with you, I can't see any other way that car would have lost control. He might have made contact with that side pod of Coutinho there, but they were running side by side, and you can hardly blame them here, but it's not won on the first lap. It can definitely be lost. Josh leads the way here on lap 1 with Recon second and Kalsper rounding out the top 3. Blaze is now out of the race then. He's retired in the pit lane, so not a great start for him. And obviously that incentive of scoring points on the board, even if you finish in 15th place, if you make it to the checker flag, you're scoring points. It doesn't seem like the right decision to retire from this one. But other than that retirement from Blaze and Charlie getting a little bit sideways going through turn 12, it looks like everybody's got through cleanly.
Yeah, very good start actually by Scuba. You mentioned it coming through Parabolica. He actually got forced off track slightly by Mashiro. Mashiro just cut across completely going into the hairpin, and that made him lose the position to Chubb. So just a little bit of note on that. And I think Blaze might have picked up a little bit of front wing damage, if I'm not mistaken, which is why he might have came into the pits. Cowboy, in the meantime, trying to find his way through on 0. No room at the in there. But Cowboy is driving a good race. Vaporon, by the way, is up 5 positions, up to 9th from 14th.
Yeah, just a quick one from, I believe that is Blaze in the chat there, saying that he had to retire because of his setup that had an issue and he felt he was a danger to other drivers. So that's why he's retired, so hopefully he'll be back for the second race to get some points.
Kalsper's into the pits on lap 2. We saw this in the mini league where drivers pitted early. Kalsper's going very, very early. Mediums it will be for him. 14 laps on the set mediums will last.
It's doable. It is doable. So let's see what happens then for the new champion of TTL F1 as we now make our way on board with Laser then as he tries to chase down Scuba. Charlie picks up a 3-second time penalty. Coutinho is right on the back of Maze here. DRS is now online as we make our way through Parabolica on board with Laser as he now makes his way on towards turn 6. Or sorry, the hairpin there, as there's a switchback going on up ahead between Vaporeon and Sean there. Sean gets the rear end of Vaporeon in his nose there, as Vaporeon took nothing for granted there, just sent it up the inside. Have that, he says, and he gains the position up to P7. Vaporeon goes.
Yeah, Sean weaving there. Vaporeon just dived it down the inside, Daniel Ricciardo-esque. He got the car fully ahead. Nothing he could do about that. Parked the bus perfectly into the hairpin. Vaporeon through, he's up to 7th. Made that look pretty easy.
It made it look pretty easy, but I'm definitely sure that it was anything but. As we now see Josh still leading the way. 1.5 seconds he leads ahead of Recon here. Meanwhile, you got loads of cars coming into the pits. Mashiro leading a huge straight in as Chubbs and Scuba trying to share exactly the same bit of track as they make their way through the pit lane there. Scuba wanted to get on with it, but unfortunately he was held up there on the entrance, and you can see there now trying to make their way in towards the pit lane. The only problem with the multiplayer cars is that you don't know who your quote-unquote teammate is. You have to share a box with someone, and you don't necessarily know who that is until you get to that pit stop window. Coutinho and Sean there battling away, and Coutinho has managed to find a way ahead going through turns 2 and 3. He's got that DRS, so he was behind at the detection point. Zero, meanwhile, on the inside of Maze, then with that DRS, able to take the racing line, but Maze looking for a move up the inside. Zero's run deep, though. He's missed his braking point. Now has to go across the outfield there to try and rejoin, and Maze should be able to hold on through this one as we go through turn 7. Josh, meanwhile, has got ahead here of Calsper, but only just. Charlie trying to battle his way through. He is on 3-lap old medium tyres, so he started the race on those, obviously, along with Coutinho, the only two to start those. And so you've only really got a handful of drivers left to pick. Coutinho, Sean, Maze, Zero, and Charlie. Those are the only drivers left in this race to make their mandatory stop.
Yeah, Coutinho actually done a really great move on Sean coming through turn 2, switched it back through turn 2, through turn 3, got the move done. Sean is into the pits as a result. I think Mates is coming into the pits as well. Calsper did try and undercut Josh. He was trying to get the overtake done into the hairpin. It was nearly 3 wide between himself, Josh, and Charlie. It was Josh that got through. He actually got a little bit of a tap from Calsper in behind, so give him a little bit of a helping hand there, and Calsper just on the receiving end, I think, from Josh. Josh looks a little bit quicker than Calsper at this stage.
We'll have to wait and see how this all plays out then. Coutinho leads, but is yet to stop alongside with Zero. Josh then rejoins half a second ahead of Calsper, so that undercut from Calsper has worked, and it's brought him right into DRS zone and DRS range. Josh could be in trouble here for the rest of the race.
Recon, I think, is even more in trouble because he's got Charlie in front of him and he needs to pass him quicker rather than later. Because Recon, I think, and Calsper were only about 8 or 9 tenths separating. Calsper has gained, what, a full 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds maybe on Recon? It's phenomenal stuff, and Calsper now beginning to look quicker than Josh.
Yeah, he is, as he's looking his way through. Obviously, that DRS is going to help him, and that's going to be the key thing as we make our way now in towards turn 12. You can see there, Recon also trying to battle away with Charlie. Charlie, of course, yet to stop in this race as we head on board with him through Zach's curve. And, of course, that camber towards the apex there, able to carry a little bit more speed through there than you may think. It's quite misleading that way. Zero now into the pits then on those soft tyres and trying to make his way through. How much time will he lose compared to those around him? And I think Charlie here pulling to one side. Recon goes through. So too does Charlie. But Chubbs is going to get the receiving end of that one. Having to go round the outside at turn 1. Just about squeezed his way through there. But Charlie trying to let people through. Obviously, he doesn't feel like he's got the pace, or at least he doesn't want to be interfering with his own strategy. He's decided to let people through rather than battle them. Now, in the long run, that's probably a good idea because he loses less time overall. But I don't think Chubbs will be too happy with that one.
Yeah, Chubbs won't be too happy. It almost looked like Charlie just mistook, actually, the corner coming up so quick. And that is why, as we see him going side by side with Mashiro here, Mashiro trying to get down on the inside line. Can the Japanese man get the move done? Look at Laser in behind as well, trying to find our way through. Mashiro was through. Laser trying to go all the way around the outside of Charlie. Phenomenal stuff. He had that one. Actually, he was in behind going through the corner. Laser has got the move done, and he's ran past Charlie and speeds up to 8. Laser's looking quite quick.
He is indeed, as he makes his way now all the way through. Mashiro Got to watch out for him as well, because although he's made that move, he's now 1.1 behind Scuba. Can he try and find his way up the order a little bit more? Coutinho still leads though, but the battle for the net lead of this race is between Josh and Kalsper. 7/10 of a second between them. Recon has just set the fastest lap of this race then, as he's there in 4th place, 3 seconds behind this battle. But if he keeps setting fastest lap after fastest lap, he's got a chance of closing in.
Yeah, Recon 3.1 seconds off. It was 2.6 before he was released. So he has actually lost a little bit of time. Kalsper just within DRS range now to Josh. I think he's going to stay back. He is. He's running no ERS down the straight to Kalsper. Not going to get this move done. I think Vaporon is closing in up on Charlie as well. Yeah, Vaporon just absolutely sails past Charlie. And we've got Laser on Mashiro. Up and coming stars here in the Academy team. Later Mashiro stay as they are, and Corporal and Sean are having a bit of a ding-dong battle, I should say, going down in towards turn 6 hairpin. Sean trying to pick up the slipstream on Cowboy. Can Cowboy try and get the move done? He's the car ahead. Sean now diving it down the inside. Cowboy holds his own around the outside, keeps the position.
Yeah, Cowboy there just about holding on, but Sean is not going to give up on this one as we now make our way in through turn 12, and Cowboy there running that green, white and orange lovely livery there. Oh, that's a dive from Sean in towards Zach's curve there, and he's just about kept that one under control. I think he saw a gap there that no one else did.
He did, and I think it's a combination of him actually missing his braking point and him going for the gap that wasn't really there. It's a little bit of a rookie mistake, if I've got to be honest. But I think Sean should know a little bit better than that. Kalsper, in the meantime, has gone past Josh down the straight through turn 3.
And there it is then. Kalsper makes the move as we head down towards the hairpin, but Josh has got some DRS. He's going to have a move back here, down in towards the hairpin of turn 6, as Josh then retakes the lead here of this first race of the Sprint Cup here in Germany. But Kalsper's not going to let this one go without a fight. Through turn 7 they go. You can see Josh defending the inside line in towards turn 8, then goes back towards the racing line. Now, it is allowed, you are allowed to make one defensive move and then one move back to the racing line. That is fully within the regulations, and Josh is showing those regulations off to a T.
These two are actually looking so consistent on pace as well. Josh is beginning to close it on Coutinho. It's only 6.7 seconds. 2 laps ago it was 7 seconds. So that gap has only came down by 0.4 of a second. It comes to show that Coutinho's mediums aren't wearing off at the rate that they should be, and they're wearing off actually at a slower rate to where they should be. Recon just trying to eke a little bit closer. He's 0.4 gained now on the back of Kalsper. Still 2.8 seconds coming across the line. And to be honest, Recon looks a little bit out of his comfort zone, to be honest. He's got Chubbs catching him.
He has, but he is slowly closing in on those cars ahead of him. If he keeps setting fast laps like he is, he'll be able to close in sooner rather than later. And especially if these two keep battling for this position. Kalsper once again trying to close in, but he's now turned it down to 0 ERS deployment, so he's clearly not interested in making a move just yet as they head in towards that hairpin. Chubbs, meanwhile, looking to make life difficult for Recon, as you were saying, James, on the exit of the hairpin. Can he try and make this move? But Kalsper, meanwhile, has found a move, has he, on Josh through turn 7 around the outside, and now he gets the inside line for 8 through that complex, and through 11 he's up to 2nd.
It's almost as if he's been a horse in the Gold Cup and he's found a turn of foot, to be honest. Yeah, Kalsper just sails past him, used it up, ERS up to mode 5. Easy as you like, Kalsper through.
Oh, there you go. Charlie, meanwhile, has he got a move on Vaporeon? He has, but Vaporeon here...
Vaporeon's fun.
Yeah, Vaporeon did spin then on the exit of 11, and he's lost a bunch of positions. They're now down to 12th place. Of course, all these positions, as long as you make it to the checkered flag, you'll be able to score points with this alternate point scoring system. It's only 20th place that doesn't score any points, or of course, you don't make it to the checkered flag. Meanwhile then, Kalsper and Josh, this battle is going to carry on for at least another 8 laps in this race, that's for sure. Coutinho, we are expecting him into the pits sooner rather than later. Maybe on this lap he might be able to pit in, but how much damage has that done to his strategy, I wonder. Josh, no ERS deployment for him down towards the hairpin. Not interested in the move just yet. You can see Scuba there. No ERS deployment as well, but he has less than 20% battery available to him to use. So he may be trying to harvest some energy as Maze here and Vaporeon. Vaporeon's had another spin going through turn 3.
I think his tyres are beginning to overheat. He's on 6-lap old mediums. He just looks like he got caught on the inside curve coming through turn 11, which is why he's obviously spun where he did. And then he's done it again through turn 3. Again, probably getting caught on the curb.
You can see here Josh, meanwhile, trying to close in once again on Carlsberg as we head through Zach's curve, then through the little chicane. It's a very quick chicane as we head through Sud curve now, onwards towards the start-finish line. Who's going to get the better exit out of here? Heading now onwards towards lap 11. We've still got Coutinho in the lead, but he is yet to stop in this race. He has to make that one pit stop, which we assume he's going to go onto a set of soft tyres. He won't be going to a set of hard tyres, that's for sure. Heading now in through turns 2 and 3 with Josh M here. He's got a good run through turn 3 there. He'll have some DRS, but how much ERS will he use? Well, the answer is absolutely nothing at all, as he's just interested in staying behind Carlsberg. I wonder if this is strategic. I wonder if he's staying behind Carlsberg for now and leaving it to the last possible moment to get a move done.
I can exactly see what's going on here. Josh, I think, and Carlsberg are in the same party together, so I think they're trying to work to try and pull a gap to Recon. It's 3.1 seconds the gap. It is working, to be honest, but they've got to be aware of Chubbs and Scuba beginning to close in on Recon. Carlsberg and Josh, they can't afford really to... I would love to see a battle, to be honest, but they can't afford to be too considerate, I think, in terms of their ERS deployment, especially Josh, who's just sitting in behind Carlsberg and maybe looking longer game than anything else. I mean, there's 6 laps to go when we come across the line. I'm not really sure what their plan is, but whatever it is, it could produce a really good finale.
Now remember, there's no team championship here. All the drivers are out there for themselves, so if they decide to work together, that's on their head, be it. Vaporian retires from the race after another spin he had through turn 3. I just saw that on the mini-map, and he is now out of the first race of the German Grand Prix. Charlie is into the pits then. He started this race on those set of tyres, and now he'll be in to put on a fresh set of soft tyres. That'll get him to the end of the race. On they go, and he'll be away very shortly. Meanwhile, Josh is still right behind Carlsberg here as we make our way in towards the hairpin, and they have stabilised that gap between themselves and Coutinho. Now, bear in mind that Carlsberg only has 2 lap older tyres than the race leader right now. He's keeping good pace up with him as we make our way now in towards that middle section through 8, 9, 10 and 11. Once again, put some numbers on the screen here because it's really difficult to figure out which one's 8, 9, 10 and 11 respectively. But there you go. Now go through turn 12 and onwards now towards Zach's curve, and Josh still putting that car in front under pressure as he looks to try and find that apex. But Carlsberg here is happy to just keep that momentum going, and Josh is happy to harvest that ERS. Coutinho is into the pits at long last on his medium tyres. He'll be shortly onto a set of soft tyres to get himself to the end of the race, but it'll be interesting to see where he rejoins throughout the field. Of course, he's been leading this race for a long time, and those tyres will be a little bit worse for wear. Now Josh and Carlsberg resume the battle for what is now the lead of the race as they make their way now through turn 3 and onwards now towards Parabolica through this long left-hander. You can see Josh here has fully deployed it now into overtake mode. He moves to the right-hand side as we make our way down towards the hairpin here, and Josh simply takes away that racing line in towards the hairpin, and he gets the move done. Josh is your new race leader. He makes the move on Carlsberg. Meanwhile, behind them, Scuba and Chubbs are battling away for position. So too are Laser and Mashiro. It's all going off here in this time around into the hairpin. Scuba up to 4th. Laser and Mashiro battling away for position. Mashiro wants that P6.
Yes, Scuba actually getting a very good move done. He had the move done on Chubbs going into the hairpin. Just off camber of the corner, he forced Chubbs wide offline, but I think Scuba had got the position done even before the little bit of contact was made. He's up to 4th. He can now chase down Recon. I did say he had good pace, Scuba, and he's beginning to close in. And do you know what? A James Head prediction might come right.
Well, I'll have seen everything if that's the case. I really will have. Lap 14 of this race here. 4 laps to go as we head through. Josh has just set the fastest lap of this race. He means business now. He was definitely saving up that ERS for this latter part in the race. Only a handful of laps to go in race 1. Don't forget as well, stay tuned after this race because we'll have exactly the same again for you to revel and enjoy as we head to race 2 of the round 2 here of the German race of the Sprint Cup. So do stick around, make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you're notified every time TTTV goes live. We pretty much go racing every night of the week, so you're missing out if you're not subscribed. Meanwhile, Carlsberg still trying to close in on Josh. Meanwhile, behind them, there's a queue forming for P4.
Yeah, keep forming for P4. Scuba under pressure from Chubbs. Chubbs has showed really good pace, I think. He's beginning to come alive in these multiplayer cars. And for him being an academy driver against one of TMC's finest drivers as well, he's showing very good pace, and Chubbs is keeping with Scuba. And I never thought I'd see the day where I'd actually say that. Coginio, by the way, on a set of softs, he's beginning to close in on Mashiro to second the gap. He's got to be aware though, and he's obviously going to be on the quicker tyres. He's just got to be aware of the drivers in front, because they will put up a fight, guaranteed.
They absolutely will, because they're battling him now to the end of the race. 3 laps to go here. Kalsper and Josh battling away then, and Josh has actually been passed by Kalsper going in towards turn 2 there as we head through 3 and 4. I'm not sure if that was a good idea, because Josh now, look at this, he'll have some DRS, he'll have the slipstream too. He actually doesn't activate the DRS then, Josh, and actually backs off. So he's not interested in battling right now. I think now he's going to harvest his ERS and see if he can make a move on the last lap of this race. Coginio, meanwhile, has other ideas. He makes the move on Mashiro, then in towards the hairpin we go. And on the softer tyres, Coginio has a point to prove as he tries to make his way up the order as much as he possibly can. Weaving there, he must know he's on camera, making his way through turn 7.
Yeah, you can see how much fresher the tyres are as well, the softs compared to the mediums. He's 5 tenths off the back of Laser. Laser's had a very good race as well. But look at the speed that Coginio was managing to carry through the corners. He set a purple middle sector. Do not be surprised if this is a 1:12 fastest lap from Coginio. He is on fire, and these German fans must be willing him on, because it's almost as if he's got a second wind in this race since he came into pits.
Absolutely. Now going through Sud Curve as we start the penultimate lap of the race. Kalsper still in the lead then as we make our way onwards on board with Coginio as he makes his way towards turn 1. It's a terrifying corner if you're on heavy wear, that's for sure. But now with some DRS up towards turn 2, will Coginio think about a move here? No, not quite. He's got to be careful though to keep that front wing intact as we make our way through. Corboy with a 3-second time penalty. Here goes Coginio then with some DRS, and even though Laser has some DRS as well, you can see here Coginio ramps up the ERS deployment. Down towards the hairpin we go, and Coginio here has the inside line. Is he able to get the traction off the hairpin here? They're still side by side, but you'd think on those soft tyres, you can just see on the right hand side, he's still there as they head in towards turn 7. Coginio here has that move done at long last, and now he's up to P6.
Yeah, great stuff by Coginio. Laser just picking up a 3-second time penalty in behind. He's clearly got the pace. Could he challenge Chubbs for a top P5 finish? We'll have to wait and find out. Josh was very close, by the way, to Kalsper back into the hairpin through turn 6, nearly making contact with Kalsper's rear end.
Well, here we go then as we head our way around the final corner and onwards towards the start, the lap, or the final lap, I should say, of the first race of round number 2. Kalsper still leads the way. Will he end this lap leading this race? Josh right behind as we make our way in towards turns 2, 3 and 4. This is Josh's pretty much last chance to try and move then through Parabolica and down towards the hairpin. Can he take advantage of this? He hasn't got a lot of ERS to deploy, less than 10% now, but he'll certainly give it a go as he makes his way now down towards the hairpin. Kalsper goes defensive on the inside. Josh trying to find a move around the outside, no way through. Can he try and find traction on the exit? They make contact between each other. Still they run side by side as we head onwards towards turn 7 there. Kalsper on the outside, Josh on the inside, and Kalsper's just about held on up the inside of turn 8. He'll try and shut the door, will he, as he heads through 9, 10 and 11. They come together. They come together there, and Josh backs out of the throttle. Kalsper able to regain control, but look at this then. Recon takes the lead out of absolutely nowhere. Kalsper recovers to second. He has to fend off Scuba then as we head towards Zach's curve here. Scuba gets onto the grass as he tries to make his way through, and out of absolutely nowhere, Recon has just taken the lead of this race, and he'll certainly not be against that one. He'll cross the start-finish line to win the first race here at Germany. And Scuba's run out of fuel. Kalsper across the line in second, Josh third. Scuba just about makes the checkered flag. He finishes in 4th place. Mashiro in 5th with Coginio in 6th place. And it's Chubbs in 7th. It's Laser 8th. Coolboy crosses the line in 9th place. Sean will come around the final corner and to take 10th place. That's a nice result from him. Mays, meanwhile, will finish in 11th place as he makes his way around the final corner and onwards towards that start-finish line to take some valuable points. Charlie crosses the line in 12th, and Zero will cross the line to get 13th place and some good points on the board regardless. But your winner I can't quite believe I said this. It's a 2-horse race and somehow Recon's won it. But he's done it. 30 points added to his tally.
And he takes the championship lead.
He does indeed, yeah, absolutely, with Kalsper only ahead by 1 point. That now, in theory, puts Recon at the top of the standings. But, of course, we've got a long way to go. We've still got another race for tonight. But Recon wins the first race here in Germany. Race 2 coming up very shortly. But Recon, well, I think he'll be pinching himself there because I don't think even he expected that.
He didn't, and I think, to be honest, it was a bit of a misjudgment between Josh and Kalsper with the contact. Obviously, both losing the rear ends at points. Josh waited up for Kalsper. It cost them both. Recon takes the win, and Scuba could have had second if Kalsper just didn't force him onto the grass that little bit further, but he did run out of fuel in the end. But Scuba finishing fourth in the end, and the top four not picking up any penalties.
Not at all. And here's your official, unofficial results for the first race of round number 2. It is Recon who wins the race, Kalsper second, and Josh in third. But I tell you right now, that does not explain the full story. Scuba in fourth with Mashiro fifth, Cogino in sixth, Chubb seventh, Laser in eighth, Cowboy in ninth, Short in 10th, Maisie 11th, Charlie 12th. Zero in 13th, Vaporeon not finishing the race, and neither did Blaze. That means the top 13 are the only ones that can score points. And just to put that into perspective, 13th place scores 7 points. Vaporeon, if he just tried to have a race of attrition and get to the line and get to the checker flag, that would have been 6 points added to his tally. Blaze retiring through rig issues and something to do with his wheel there that he had to retire because he thought he was unsafe out on track, so he willingly retired from this race. That means 0 points scored. But, well, that was quite a race, I have to say. If that's the first race, can't wait for the second one, that's for sure.
Yeah, the second race should be absolutely fantastic, I think. I'm downstairs at the minute just doing a little bit of work for my computer, but I'm still here.
You are still here. You did cut out a little bit though, so you're a bit. I think what happens is that you get too far away from your from your PS4, and the controller has a tough time of staying connected. But stay with us, James, because we need you for this one. But yeah, as we kept saying about this point system, of course there is. Up to 13th place in that race, finished the race, took the checkered flag. That means a minimum of 7 points was scored by each and every driver. For 14th and 15th place, it's 6 and 5 points respectively. So it really is important to get to the checkered flag, because if you don't, you're missing out on big opportunities to score points. And of course, when we get to some of the general rules, just to take you through everything like that, just remember that the safety car is turned off for this championship, and weather is always clear, so there's no shock from the drivers about what to expect. It is a full-on sprint race to the end, and you know what, I think for the drivers, they appreciate that. It's just a sprint race, the weather's always lovely and glorious, and there's no chance of a safety car, so they can really concentrate on just driving absolutely flat out.
Yeah, I think it is going to be fantastic to see, obviously, with the second race coming up, how we are going to see, and with the conditions being dry as well, it should provide a lot of overtaking, I think, on track, and hopefully we're going to be seeing the best of the best once again. Can we see a Kalsper and Recon battle?
I think we will, and I think you know we will. Eventually we'll get that for sure. But Josh is showing some good pace, and obviously the two of them, him and Kalsper, made contact going through turn 11 there. And it was one of those things where I panicked and thought, actually, I'm going to watch this battle. I'm going to go to the car behind, but that car behind was actually Recon. I actually misjudged it terribly. But anyway, you didn't see the contact. There was contact there between the two of them, and Recon just took full advantage. Even he says in the chat that was a gift to him to get that win. But sometimes when your luck's in, your luck is in, and Josh will be feeling hard done by a chance of a win and finishing third.
Yeah, Josh will feel hard done by, but obviously that contact just put him and Kalsper at the wrong end of the race, to be honest. Recon taking full advantage, Scuba nearly taking full advantage as well. I am back upstairs, which is remarkable. We've got a 5-minute break. That has enabled me to turn off my computer. Hopefully the connection will be better. I'm right beside my PS4 and I'm out of breath.
And you're right beside me as well, don't forget that.
I'm right beside you.
I have to say, I don't think something's right with YouTube, because I had a look, and unless I'm absolutely blind and need a prescription, there's definitely not 486 comments there, so something's going terribly wrong. Hopefully there are 13 people watching right now. Hello to you all if you are, and if you keep spamming A, stop it, because I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, 488 now, that's amazing. Amazing.
That's very strange. Honestly, I can tell you there is not 487 comments in that YouTube comment section. There's probably more, about 40 or 50.
Absolutely. Well, well, in any case, divide it by 10. There you go. That gets more accurate. That gets more accurate as we go along. But of course, another one-shot qualifying to decide this grid order as we head to race 2. And of course, when it comes to an alternate point scoring system, James, it's not always to work it out off the top of your head. You're so used to the top 10 scoring points, 25 points for the winner, 18 points for second place. That's a 7-point gap, etc., etc. Now it's a whole set of different points. It's only for 4 weeks. And by the time we get to F1 2020, I'm going to be saying 30 points for the winner, but that's absolutely not true.
Yeah, I think it's good, to be honest, having this point system. It is fantastic to see this point system in operation for the Spring Cup. It gives necessary chances to those people who have been probably mid-pack during the season to actually get some really good points. We're on board with Chubbs.
We are indeed on board with Chubbs then, as we now make our way through turn 1, but you can see how much Chubbs actually lost in time there. Vaporeon is not having a good day at all so far. He's actually retired on his own accord. I assume then he's taken turn 1 with a bit too much liberty there and invalidated his lap time. Mashiro, though, is currently at the head of the field, but it's always so difficult to tell when we get to one-shot qualifying, because you see we get to a breaking point and all of a sudden everyone will jumble about. As you can see there, they're all jumping about like they're on a bouncy castle or something. But Recon makes his way out on top at the moment, with Josh in second and Laser in third. Scuba having a good race, and if only he didn't run out of fuel towards the checkered flag there, he could have had a really good result. Josh M getting his way now in through turn 11, onwards now towards turns 12, and then towards Zach's curve in through 13. He's just set a purple sector 2 there as he makes his way through. Now onwards towards Zach's curve. Laser's giving him a run for his money. So too is Recon. It's going to be so close to this line here as to who's going to get pole position. Laser leading the way through here, but Josh now takes it back. It's going to be so close to the line. It's almost too difficult to call, but it's Josh who gets onto pole position by a fraction. By a 100th of a second, Josh gets a second pole position of the night.
Top 5 separated by a 10th and a half, I think, as well.
Incredibly close. And we all saw that in the last race as well. But your qualifying results for race number 2. Josh takes his second pole position of the night. Recon in second. Scuba third with Laser in fourth. Calsper starting down in 5th place, but only just under 2/10 off. That's pretty much the gap between first and second place in the last qualifying session. Mashiro 6th with Corboy in 7th. Chubbs in 8th. Blaze 9th. And Charlie in 10th. Zero 11th. Maze 12th. Vaporeon, Coutinho and Sean all not setting lap times. Vaporeon actually retiring on his own accord. Maybe he thought he took turn 1 badly, but because of that, Coutinho and Sean getting their lap times struck off the record means he actually qualifies 13th.
Yeah, he does, and I think, to be honest, Vaporeon was trying to try a last-to-first challenge. He was under the impression that everyone was going to set a lap ahead of him. Unfortunately, not the case. Coutinho and the other disqualified driver going to be starting behind him. So Vaporeon only starting 13th, so it's a 13th to first challenge, I think, for him.
13th to first. Doesn't have quite the same ring to it, though, does it? Gotta be honest. But anyway, we're getting into the race now for this German Grand Prix, race number 2. Don't forget as well, next week we'll be heading to the Italian Grand Prix for the next 2 rounds of the championship. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell so you do not miss it, with myself and James bringing you that next week to continue on. And then don't forget as well, a week afterwards we'll be finishing off TTL F1 Sprint Cup and my time on the game cycle to an end at the Belgian Grand Prix. That is in 2 weeks' time, so make sure you join us for that. I believe it's the first week of July, so make sure you do join us for that one before we get onto a brand new game. For now, though, we are solely focused on F1 2019, and we're solely focused on this custom Sprint Cup. And once again, James, I've got to say, you got half a decision or half a prediction right, because Carlsberg was on the pace at the end there, but just ran out of fuel with about 100 metres to go. So what's your prediction this time around?
Oh, you've put me in a very tricky spot. I've got to be honest, Scuba being third is a fantastic revelation, I think, for the Irishman. I've seen him drive around here numerous times, and Scuba has already driven a very good race. But for me, I'm going to have to go Josh again. I think he had the pace, obviously, before the contact. He was inevitably, I think, going to finish second and probably put my prediction a little bit wrong in the first race. But I think Josh will do it. Second for me, I'm going to go Recon. And for third, I'm going to go Calsper. Sorry, Scuba.
That's a little bit harsh on Scuba. I'm sure he'll be at you in your mentions in the next week or so. That is for sure. He won't leave you alone now. Everyone's starting on the set of the soft tyres for this one, barring Maze and Sean, both 12th and 15th respectively, both starting on a set of the medium tyres. And we saw how early Kalsper came into the pit. Have Josh, Recon, et al., have they all learned their lesson for that one? And do they pit in at around about a similar time this time around?
Well, I know we made the prediction in Mini League, if you remember, or certainly in Germany where we had the strategies, and we thought it was going to be from around lap 5. Throw that completely out of the window, because these guys will probably pit in lap 2, lap 3 onwards, up to about lap 5 or lap 6, and then we'll see the softs, and then we'll see the mediums really come into play. It depends, though, on what these guys... I would assume these guys will all pit in on the same lap.
Well, we're about to find out what's going to happen here in race 2 of round 2 here in Germany as the last of the drivers line up on their grid slots, with Sean taking his place on 15th place on the right-hand side of your screen. We are moments away from lights out here at the Hockenheim Ring as we start to count up towards those 5 red lights. And here we are. It is 5 red lights in Hockenheim. We are underway. What are the starts like? Another good start from Josh. Another good start then from Scuba, who tries to make his way up the order. Going through turn 1 now, and he takes away second place from Recon. Kalsper means business then. He's up to P4 already as we make our way in towards turn 2 for the first time. Can everybody keep their noses clean in this time around as we head our way now through turns 3 and 4. Laser trying to get his way up the order. 5th place right now as he's in the slipstream of Kalsper. Let's see how this all develops. He's got Mashiro right behind him as we can see here, making our way now down towards the hairpin for the very first time, and Sean is right at the back there. You've got Zero. Oh, there's Chubbs there going straight on. There's a bit of front wing end plate there going off the track, so someone has made contact with somebody else. We'll have to see. I think that is Vaporeon, is it? Has got front wing damage. No, it's not him. It's the car behind him.
Zero.
It is Zero who's got front wing damage. Meanwhile, Vaporeon is trying to make moves stick here. Obviously retired from the last time out and goes round the outside of Blaze, going in towards turn 11 and snatches that position away. Up to P9 he goes. And of course he retired from last time out. Just spun one too many times for his own liking and decided to call it a day for that first race. It's great to see that he stuck around and had another go at race number 2. But at the end of that one, it looks like it is Zero who has the front wing damage. He's electing to stay out though, and I have to say that that's probably the wisest decision, because now he's sort of realising that if Kalsper can last only 2 laps on these soft tyres and then get the mediums to the end, surely it's worth staying out.
Yeah, but these 2 laps are going to be hell on earth for him, quite literally. I think Maze is going up the inside of both Charlie and Sean. Can he try and get the move done around the outside of Charlie through turn 4? Be epic if he can. He can't, but he certainly got Sean done. So Maze is through on Sean. Can he get the move done on Charlie, leading down towards Parabolica? Kagenio's made up a mass amount of ground. And now Sean and Maze make a little bit of contact. Zero wins completely wide. And Kagenio has been overtaken by Mashiro, or is he? Because the German's going around the outside, is he? Through turn 9, or through turn 8. No, Mashiro holds on.
Yeah, he's held on for now. I just saw Maze and Zero have retired from this race after a little bit of contact going in towards turn 6. They both out of the race, only with front wing damage. They've elected to retire the race themselves, but unfortunate to see that they'll both be taking no further part. Kagenio running a little bit of understeer there in the first part of that chicane, and that's cost him a lot of time. There you can see at the end of lap 2, you can see Josh, Recon, you've got, I think that's Callboy as well. Lots of people into the pits, but this time around, Kalsper stays out. DRS is now online.
Yeah, Kalsper staying out. It's Recon, Josh, Laser, Vaporeon and Blaze. Cooper, better known as, of course. They're all into the pits. They're all going on a set of medium compound of tyres. Watch out for Kagenio, though. He's made up remarkable ground. He's on the back of Mashiro. Him and the TTL F1 League 2 champion have been coming to blows on the last lap there. Be very interesting to see going into the hairpin if the same occurs. Kagenio trying to go around the outside at his home track against the Japanese man. And he go around the outside. He'll have the traction. Mashiro and Kagenio having a very good battle. Callboy could get into play as well. He's just a little bit off the pace. But Kagenio on the back of Mashiro. I think Vaporeon has spun through turn 4. Mashiro goes very deep into the corner. And Kagenio trying to go around the outside of turn 10 and 11. What? Side by side, I tell you what. I'm not going to give you the commentary box after this. Kagenio around the outside of Mashiro, trying to get the move done. Can he? He's down the inside through Sachs Curve into 13. And he just about gets the move done. But I tell you what, remarkable respect between them both.
Absolutely, Mashira here has held on there by the skin of his teeth, and then after all that, he comes into the pits there to change his tyres. Scuba gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I've had one of those before. It's a harsh and cruel slap on the wrist, but it's one you really don't have any defence against, unfortunately. Coutinho now takes the lead once again in this race, with Charlie in second, Sean in third, but the top three yet to stop in this one. Josh, meanwhile, rejoins ahead of Kalsper, and Recon, can he try and get ahead of Kalsper once again? Yes, he can, up towards turn 2. And grab your popcorn, James, because you've been waiting all night for this.
Yeah, but watch out for this, because Kalsper and Recon are going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. Vaporn is out of the race. I think he's gone off through turn 12, and Kalsper and Recon, round 1 goes Kalsper's way. Kalsper's just sailed past Recon down towards the hairpin at turn 6. Easy as you like. Kalsper through, and he's up to 5th. But we're going to see an epic battle for sure.
I'll tell you what, it's not going to be end of story between these two whatsoever. Kalsper now has a job of trying to close in on the next car, which of course is Josh there running in P4. The only one of the front runners to have, the only one in this queue that has stopped. No, I didn't mean that. I meant the first of the runners that have stopped. There we go. I got there in the end. Anyway, Scuba is on the back of Blaze here, and who's also on the back of Cowboy. I wonder here, there was a massive amount of understeer, and I thought so. Actually, I thought there was front wing damage to that right-hand side of the car, but I'm duly mistaken. Blaze here, meanwhile, has decided that this time around his rig is safe enough to race, and he is in this one 10th place for now, but he's under pressure from the car behind, which of course is Scuba, who picked himself up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And it's one of those where you just don't really have a defence for. You never have, and you never will.
Yeah, Blaze looks all over the place, I've got to be honest. His rig, obviously he complained about the setup in the first race, that's why he retired. It wasn't safe enough for him to race. He, again, just looks a little bit off the pace. I'm not saying he's off the pace. He's just going to go past Cowboy and absolutely sail past him. But now Blades is going to be under attack. Actually, Scuba is going to be under attack from Blades. Oh, and there's contact between Scuba and Blaze. Scuba just completely overgoing his braking zone. And Blaze soon he's up to 10. Scuba weaving, probably to apologise then. Chubbs is out of the race.
Yeah, Chubbs is out of the race in Parabolica. I think he's pulled to the side and decided today is done. Meanwhile, Sean is trying to put some pressure on Charlie. Sean on the medium tyres compared to Charlie on the set of softs, as now Coutinho and Charlie come into the pits then to change onto a set of mediums. So that's going to hand Josh and Kalsper et al. A couple of positions as they now make their way across the line. And here you can see Sean is not too far away from Josh at the moment. In through turn 1 Josh goes, and he'll be wanting this time to try and grab the race win.
Yeah, he'd be definitely looking at this, and to be honest, I think Josh is looking in a very good manner. Currently out on track, 1.5 seconds is the gap, but Recon is beginning to gain on Kalsper. Kalsper beginning to gain on Josh. These three, I think, like in Austria last week, where they had a fantastic battle, I think it's all going to come to a head once again. It's going to be fantastic to see from only, 1/3 of the way through the race.
Absolutely.
Oh, Recon's into the back of Kalsper! Oh, goodness me, very late on the brakes there from Recon, just overcommitting himself into the back of Kalsper. Kalsper sent on his merry way. Recon stays in 4th, Kalsper stays 3rd.
Absolutely. Scuba moves up now to P9. He's moved ahead of Blaze, and they made contact just a corner ago, but Scuba's got his way past now up to 9th place. He will go. Recon now trying to close in on Kalsper ahead of him. Coutinho has got Mashiro in his sights. He's on fresh medium tyres, so we'll have to see how that plays out. Sean still leading the race, but he is yet to stop on those medium tyres. And I think everybody's teaching us here that it looks like the medium tyres are the better race tyre.
Mediums are the better wearing tyre, and certainly the better tyres to be on. Obviously, anybody that's going on for a set of softs, Sean is going to be the prime example. He's the only one going in the race that will have to pit. So Sean on a set of mediums currently, he will have to go under a set of softs. They're going to be quicker towards the end, but they wear off at something like 5% per lap. Mediums, definitely the tyre to be on. They only wear off, on occasions, 3-4% a lap.
Coutinho's got a good run on Mashiro here as you make our way through Parabolic. You can see Mashiro there really defending to the inside there as he has to find the long way around Coutinho. Can he try and find that against the Japanese driver? He'll have better traction off of the hairpin, and Coutinho makes that look so easy. He's now up to 6th.
I thought he completely buggered up his braking point there, to be honest, and Coutinho's just absolutely sailed it around the outside of Mashiro. Mashiro is no slouch at all. He is a TTL F1 League 2 champion ×2, So Coutinho's just made that look pretty easy, and I'm very, very impressed by Coutinho's pace. I hope to God he has the same pace next time for TTML for the new season.
Absolutely. Well, there's only one way to find out. We have to play that long and unbearable waiting game, unfortunately. However, he does look good on paper, that is for sure. And in these sprint races, it's very important that you make the impact. The impact of being a great driver, but...
Recon nearly lost it through turn 1. Sorry to cut in there on you, Kieran, but Recon just got caught on the outside curve, nearly lost it. He could have done a Charles Leclerc in 2018 where he had the 360 spin. Recon has lost time to Carlsberg for only 0.3 of a second, but it could be costly.
This is where it's going to be crucial now for Josh, because he's now right on the back of Sean here. Sean, who's yet to stop in this race. Of course, there's no obligation for Sean to let him pass. He could battle him if he wanted to, but Josh will have no intention of sticking around now. In through turn 7, there goes Sean then, straight to the defensive as he looks to defend the inside line in towards turn 8. Josh around the outside. Now he's got the inside line for 10 and 11, and he makes that look easy there against Sean. But Sean there on only 2 lap older tyres as well, as he's still trying to stay on the back of Josh there, but he's doing one of those things that I do. There's someone faster that overtakes you, you try and take their line, you overcommit, and actually it costs you more time than if you stuck to your own original line. Now Kalsper has the job of trying to get past the yet to stop Sean, and well, that was easy because he's just come into the pits, has Sean, so one less thing for Kalsper to worry about. That would have cost Josh some time, but not Kalsper.
Yeah, gotta be honest, I think Sean really put up a good fight there against Josh. Obviously, if he was to go a lap further, he would have been putting up a good fight against Kalsper and Recon, probably being overtaken by both of them. But now it gives us the three-way battle. And honestly, in terms of pace, Kalsper is quicker than Josh. He's been just ebbing away at this gap 2 or 3 tenths at a time. Fantastic to see. Kalsper is getting closer. He's just got to watch out on that ERS because it's 22% Josh on 14 and Recon on 21, so they're really all around the same part.
Scuba and Corboy, this could be a battle down towards the hairpin. Corboy moves to the right hand side of the track, then Scuba with the DRS just finds his way through and takes that position away up to P7. He will go, and Corboy trying to get the better exit out of the hairpin, didn't quite work that time around. Coutinho meanwhile on the back of Laser as they make their way now through this stadium section.
Yeah, Coutinho is really outpacing Laser and outpacing drivers around him, to be honest. He's been a revelation, I think, in this second race. He's doing a fantastic job. We saw him on a set of softs. He was overtaking people left, right and centre. If that luck didn't happen, obviously, with Josh and Kalsberg crashing, Coutinho probably would have came maybe top 3 if he didn't have that little bit of bad luck during the race. But he's on the back of Laser, and I've got to be honest, he looks like he's just came into the race. It's like he's taken over from a 24 with 1 hour to go in a 24-hour race, and he looks fresh as a daisy, and he's going to line him up into turn 2.
Yeah, Laser didn't get a good run through turn 1 there, and Coutinho, he tries to stay behind to stay in that DRS detection zone. Now he's going to go round the outside through turns 3 and 4. He'll have some DRS as well, very close between them, but Coutinho there has got the DRS, and he'll slowly pull away from Laser then as we make our way now down towards the hairpin. Smart driving from Coutinho there. He knew he had to stay behind that DRS detection point before making that move, and that would have granted him some DRS to use to help him get past, and now he's up to P4. We should probably, with 8 laps to go, 7 and a bit if you're picky, focus on this battle for the lead. It's between 3 drivers, Josh leading the way, Kalsper and Recon right behind.
Yeah, Recon's just got to be careful, just on run out wide there through turn 11. Josh is beginning to lose now a little bit of pace. Kalsper and Recon are coming into this fresh as a daisy, as I've said, and Kalsper and Recon are now beginning to close in on Josh. That gap has halved over the last lap or so, pretty much to 5 tenths of a second as they come across the line. In fact, it's going to be up to about 8 tenths of a second coming across the line. But for a showdown for round 2 here in Germany, couldn't ask for any more.
Yeah, race 2, round 2. Don't forget to tune in next week for the Italian Grand Prix. 2 races there in the same format, 1-shot quali, 25% race, and the same all over again in this alternate point scoring system where 30 points is awarded to the race winner. Meanwhile, Josh is trying to get that gap up ahead, and he's not got a lot of ERS to deploy. That could come back to bite him. He's got to do some harvesting at some point in this race. Will that affect him out of the low speed corners and the traction zones? Could this be an advantage for Kalsper and Recon to reel him back in?
Calsper, I think, is at a major advantage. I'm sure he's running about 30% more EOS than compared to Josh and Recon, both distinctly running around the same level. So Calsper are doing a fantastic job, I think, in terms of EOS management. 59% coming into that corner, 32% for Josh, 22% for Recon. So Calsper's got a 37% gap to Recon on EOS, and about a 20-odd% gap, 27% gap to Calsper, to Josh even. Calsper's at the big advantage here.
Yeah, we've got Sean, meanwhile, who's right on the back of Blaze then, all over him, in towards Zach's curve we go. This time, though, he comes across a driver that does give him the space, and he just, well, Blaze there just pretty much dived out of the way to help Sean go through, but Sean aggressive driving in towards Zach's curve. It's not an overtaking opportunity, but try telling that to Sean. He's now up to P9.
Yeah, Sean making that look pretty easy, and again, I think Blaze just struggling with his setup. You can see him running miles wide through turn 1, and in fact going into a spin, and he's out. Blaze is not out of the race. And there's a major crash. He's came into Charlie. Charlie, unlucky there. Major crash. Charlie's lost his front wing. Blaze is out of the race, and Charlie retires.
Yeah, well, he's left the session, actually, so unfortunate for him. But, yeah, he had nowhere to go. Just having a look back on that one, on the playback there, yeah, Charlie just absolutely nowhere to go. It's just the wrong place at the wrong time, which is so unlucky. And we're now down to 9 runners in this race. So Josh leads the way, Calsper second, Recon in third. Then it's a gap here to Laser on his way through. He's 7 seconds back from this battle, but don't count him out just yet. We saw what happened in the last race. It could easily happen again.
It could easily happen again, and Laser, to be honest, has had some very good pace. I'm not sure what's happened to Coginio, by the way. Now down to 6th. He was ahead of Laser, actually. So I think Coginio has made a mistake somewhere out on the track where we haven't seen, and he's now down to 6th.
Unfortunate for him, he did have some good pace, you're right, James. So he has gone down to 6th, so something's not quite gone right there. Meanwhile, then Calsper looking to try and once again close in on Josh as we make our way now through Parabolica and downwards towards the hairpin. You can see all 3 of them now trying to find a way through. Recon, is he going to try and move here? No! Down the inside? No, he's run into the back of Josh. Oh no, Recon there this time becomes the not beneficiary, if you like, and Recon there retires out of the race here. Calsper takes the race lead. Josh in 2nd place now, and I think Recon has retired more out of guilt rather than anything else. He's just completely missed his braking point, and there was only one place he was going, and that was straight on.
Yeah, overspeed completely down into the braking point. He was always going to miss his braking point as well, and it's so unfortunate to see the contact. It now puts Calsper and Josh 5/10 away from each other out in front. It's just so unfortunate, I think, to see Recon. He's retired out of guilt, and I think he's retired out of his own frustration, to be honest, as well. It's not really the nicest thing to have as a driver, but Recon will, and he definitely will. He will, and he will exceed to come back next week for sure.
Well, that does promote Laser now up to the top 3, and that's what's going to happen is Mashiro, Coginio and Scuba all have a chance here to take away that podium position. Mashiro here is under pressure, though, from Coginio as we head in towards turns 2, 3 and 4. Right behind him, Coginio is on the back of the Japanese driver of Mashiro, now into the DRS zone. Mashiro has no DRS. Here comes Coginio, then, with the slipstream, with some ERS, then goes to the right-hand side of the track, and now going down towards the hairpin will take that position away. Scuba, meanwhile, is he going to have a look down the inside? He definitely did have a think about that one, but didn't quite have the pace there and backed out of it. It's always those half-hearted moves that are the most dangerous ones, but luckily for Scuba, he realised he wasn't going to make that work.
Yeah, I think actually he might have had a little bit of contact into Mashiro's rear end. Off my angle, certainly it looked that way. Coginio now has got past Mashiro's Scuba all the way over the sausage curve. Goodness me, the Irishman very much struggling there. Coginio is coming back into this race on much fresher tyres. You can just see he is pacier and is faster than the guys around him. Coginio is, I think, guaranteed on for 3rd place, to be honest. Laser might not have any response if Coginio gets past.
Meanwhile, battle of the lead will heat up once again. Calsper now leading this one ahead of Josh. Of course, that contact that Recon made with Josh basically put him down a position. Calsper just had to go around the outside. That's all he had to do to take the lead there. as he now leads the way, but Josh will put him under some severe pressure. Now we've got a train here, a queue. Everybody in this queue has a chance for P3. We've got Laser, Kugino, Mashiro, Scuba, and Corboy further down the road. Meanwhile, Josh has got a move done for the race lead. We've got Kugino there, who makes a move down the inside in towards the hairpin to take that final podium spot away. Does Laser have any response, I wonder? Meanwhile, Josh there, you can see, now takes the lead of this sprint race. Back in the lead he is, and Kalsberg back down to second, but Kugino now up to third place. It's a big task to ask for 8.6 seconds, but, well, the gap wasn't too far away from that in the last race, and we all know what happened then.
Exactly, and I think Kugino, to be honest, has got pace to try and catch these two. Kalsberg has seriously harvested his ERS though. Josh has run at 21%, Kalsberg run at 78%. That's a 57% difference of ERS from Kalsberg to Josh. Kugino's just picked up a 3-second time penalty in behind through the final corner, I think that was. But Josh and Kalsberg, we could get a finale that we were robbed of in the first race.
We could do indeed, and I think that penalty for Kugino there, I definitely think he'll say the ghost car had a part to play in that one. That is Charlie's ghost car that's running around. He left the session. He didn't actually retire the car before he left. Meanwhile, then Kalsberg takes back the lead of the race, but then Josh tries a switch back in towards the hairpin there. Very late decision there, but Kalsberg will get the better exit. He had the better line through the corner, and basically he'll hold on to the lead of this race for now, with 1 and a bit laps to go in this one if you are picky, as Kalsberg holds on to the lead for this one just for the moment here. We're going to pretty much focus on these two for the rest of this race. Look how close they get to that wall on the left-hand side as they just basically leap in towards turn 12 there. Now going through Zach's curve. This is going to be an important lap for Josh here as he makes his way through the quick chicane. Now going through Sud curve. He's been working so hard. He's got both pole positions and yet no race win to show for it. Once again, bad fortune has besieged him. Can he put that behind him and try and get his first race win here in Germany in this race, or round number 2? He's really got one more chance through Parabolica, and that all-important corner comes from turns 2, 3 and 4. He's got a decent exit. Has he got the ERS? He's down on it for a little bit, under 20%. Once it goes orange, it's at half deployment. Kalsberg defends to the right-hand side. You've got Josh now trying to go round the outside in towards the hairpin. Kalsberg trying to hold on. He closes the door on Josh there. No way to get back onto the track for him. Kalsberg holds on to the lead of this race as they now make their way onwards now towards turns 8, 9, 10 and 11. Kalsberg just holding on this final lap of the Sprint Cup, and I think Josh will feel the most hard done by. All the effort, 2 pole positions out of 2 races here in Germany, and he's not going to have a win to show for it as he picks up another 3-second time penalty. Of course, in the context, that's another in this race. But Kalsberg now going through that quick chicane, going through in towards Sud curve. He might just take the race win for this one. Kalsberg around the final corner, takes that checkered flag at race 2, round 2, and holds on to the win as well, coming across the line. Kugino then will cross the line in 3rd place, but I have a feeling this is going to shuffle around a little bit. Who's going to take that 3rd place? It's going to be Laser, then Mashiro, Scuba and Kugino there. Here's your order. Corby coming across the line. He'll now be approached up to 6th through Kugino's penalties. Sean is actually a stricken car. He must have lost it somewhere out there, but unfortunately for him, he's lost a huge front wing there. In fact, he's lost all of that front wing as he tries to make his way down and towards the checkered flag. But he will be getting valuable points on the board. 8th place there as he now tries to make his way through and across the line. Eventually he will get there and take that checkered flag. But your race winner for race 2, round 2, it is going to be Kalsberg, who takes the top spot and adds another 30 points to his campaign.
And now retakes the lead off Recon. So we've had 2 changes of the championship lead. We've had Recon obviously take the win from Kalsberg in race 1, and now Kalsberg repays the favour and outscores Recon in race 2, and now Kalsberg has got a bigger gap compared to Recon. I think it was only a 4-point gap. Kalsberg has significantly boosted his chances of a championship here.
Well, he's got the race win here with Josh in 2nd place and Laser as well, finishing in 3rd place. A whole load of penalties for Kugino there sent him from 3rd all the way down to 7th place. And that could be crucial in the grand scheme of things. But we'll now move on to the official, unofficial results for round 2, race 2 here in Germany. It is Kalsper who takes the win with Josh in second, Laser in third, Mashiro fourth, Scuba in fifth with Corboy in sixth, Kugino seventh with Sean in eighth, Charlie ninth, Recon in 10th, but he didn't finish the race, remember. He retired on his own accord, as too did Blaze, Chubbs, Vaporeon, Maze and Zero, all retired from this race. So actually Sean is the last point scorer in this race because Charlie finished the race as a ghost car, therefore he was not in control of his own car, therefore he does not score any points. So down to 8th place. Just to put that into context, that's 12 points for Sean there, just for getting that car to the checkered flag. That could prove crucial heading into the latter stages, but for now, halfway point, and we've got a clearer idea of who to watch at the end of this one.
Yeah, Kalsper obviously taking a mass lead, I think, coming into next week. I'm just having a bit of a calculation. Obviously, Recon having a DNF. Essentially, Kalsper has gained 35 points on Recon, and it was a 4-point advantage for Recon before, obviously, his incident happened, and obviously him retiring out of the race. But phenomenal stuff on the whole. I think for Hockenheim, it's going to be fantastic to see how these guys progress during the course of the next 2 weeks. And hopefully you'll be able to tune in tomorrow, and I'll announce what is up tomorrow in due course.
Ooh, how very interesting.
Ooh.
So make sure you don't miss that either by subscribing down to the channel below. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you're notified every time TTTV goes live. And I believe, James, you're live next with the channel, are you not?
I am live. I'm live tomorrow night for a special event. It is going to be the TTG Academy taking on YWR. I believe it is either 7 or 8 o'clock UK time.
Well, you got to be specific about that, James.
I've got to... No, I have to get it right, but I'm sure it is 7 o'clock UK time. I might be wrong. If it's not 7 o'clock, tune in for 8 o'clock. If it's not 8 o'clock, tune in for 7. Simple.
Are we all clear?
That's covered.
I'll tell you what, best case scenario, turn up for 7, because worst case, you turn up an hour early, which, to be honest with you, there's no problem with that whatsoever. But make sure you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time TTTV goes live. And of course, all the links, all the social media links you want and possibly need are down in the description below. So make sure you check out all the commentators associated with TTTV. All their socials are down below. But thank you very much for watching this second round of the Sprint Cup. Next week we'll be live at the Italian Grand Prix for the next 2 races, so don't miss it. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I've been Kieran McGinley.
I've been James Head.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.